Medo Halimy, just a Gazan trying to live the life. I've never met Mido. His real name was Muhammad, but on social media, at least, everyone calls him Mido. From the limited scope I had of him, I could tell this was not someone ordinary. The way he was surviving a genocide and making videos looking so calm, all while having such a strong spirit. I knew that the people of Gaza are beyond any people I have ever met, but still, his presence made an impact. How can someone I have never met affect me this much? August 27th, I went to work as usual, checked my phone, and I saw the news. Mido was hanging out with his best friend when an IOF strike happened near them, sending shrapnel to both boys. They were both hit, but Mido succumbed to his wounds later and died. His best friend Talal survived, but imagine going through all of that, having to live through not only losing your best friend in your arms, but still having to continue living through a genocide. A few days prior to his passing, he shared with the world that his own cousin, at the young age of 11, was also martyred. He wrote on Instagram, "What could an 11-year-old possibly do? Ahmed is one of the most loving kids I have ever seen. He was so kind, so talented, with an amazing singing voice. And he really loved enjoying life. It really hurt me. He didn't deserve that. He would have had an amazing and successful life if it was not taken away. He is not a number. None of them are. Each one of them had a life, dreams, talents, hopes, and people whom they loved. No one deserves this." His words echo even louder when 5 days later he was killed at the hands of the IOF as well. These thoughts he shared so pleadingly for his 11-year-old cousin could easily be attributed to himself. His content has been all I can think about lately. The making of this very video is because of how much Mido has been occupying my mind, which is not the right word to use since I'm happy to allow him to reside there. I first remember seeing his series of planting something every day until this genocide is over. On day 30-something, his words, not mine, he shares that a lot of people asked him why he's doing this series, planting plants in the middle of a genocide. He tells his audience something I found extremely profound.
A lot of you ask me why I plant. Planting for me is a form of resistance. I bring life to earth. They're taking away life, but I'm bringing it to earth. And I hope that my plants have strong roots to the ground, just like we Palestinians do.
The caption of that video being, "Resistance has so many forms, and what I am doing is one of them." One of them. Just one of them. One of the many forms of resistance he was taking part in every day. Him existing was another form of resistance. Everything he did was resistance. When I initially heard of his passing, all I could do was scroll through the comments, trying to find peace in the thought that so many people were so fond of Mido. And I was right. Endless scrolling of people sharing the love they had for him. People saying, "Rest in power, Mido." People relaying how heartbroken they were to hear the news. People in disbelief, hoping that the news wasn't true. The news was confirmed on his story, his brother posting a picture of him, saying, "La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah," which in English translate to, "There is no power nor strength except by God." Even as he fought to survive under the impossible conditions the West and Israel has put him through, Mido brought joy and inspiration to hundreds of thousands of people. He shared with us the hardest of times he had ever experienced, but he was still resilient and fought to uplift others around him until his last day. In the last post he ever posted, he blurs out his journal, telling us he was working on a secret project he would be unveiling soon. Sadly, we will never have the pleasure of hearing what amazing project he was working on. But maybe we didn't deserve it anyways. Here's the thing that I can't shake. There are thousands of Midos in Gaza right now, and thousands of Midos that have already had their lives stolen from them from IOF soldiers. What differentiates them from us? What have we done that has earned us our safety? What have they done that has earned them this death sentence? It's not fair that this video was made in honor of Mido. I wish it could have been made while he was still alive, so we could truly see how far his reach was, so we could truly see how many people out there cared about him. For this reason, I want to take some time to highlight other brave Gazans who, just like Mido, are trying to survive this genocide that they have been unfairly forced to live through. Meet Mohammed and Omar, the two guys who run the Omar Hers show, where they show snippets of life in Gaza. Even through the horrors of devastation and famine they have lived through, they spend time editing and making informational content and have amassed a huge following because of their lighthearted spirits and witty jokes. The genocide has been ongoing for over 300 days. As of today, they have posted a total of 77 days of their daily routine in a war zone. Their last video was posted 3 weeks ago. When you scroll through the comments, everyone is concerned that they haven't heard from them and asking if anyone has an update. A few days ago, I saw on their story that they were hanging out together. The caption saying something similar to, "Still kicking." This is the reality of following figures from Gaza. We have grown to love these people very dearly, but deep down, we know that any day, anything can take them, and there is almost nothing we can do about it. Omar shared that after Mido's passing, he was like a brother to him. If you scroll through their account, you can see comments Mido left behind. Meet Mohammed, known for regularly posting videos with his siblings and him living in a tent in Rafah. June 11th, Mohammed shared with his followers that his 15-year-old brother, Zain, that appeared regularly in his videos, was murdered after IOF soldiers fired indiscriminately at the tents in the safe zone they were living in. He tells the story of it happening in detail. It was heartbreaking to hear, to say the least. Imagine arguing with your siblings over who gets to use the bathroom first. And when you finally agree to let your little sibling go, they get up and are immediately shot in the chest. Mohammed continues to post videos of him living his life, showing clips of him doing the same thing with and without his brother, conveying the heartbreak he not only has to endure, but the continuous impossible conditions he already was surviving through. Meet Mahmoud. I followed him more recently, and his content is primarily surrounding his favorite hobby, parkour. I also learned that he competed in gymnastics competitions in Gaza and is very talented. His dream was to be able to travel and compete in parkour competitions around the world, but being from Gaza, this task proved almost impossible. All he wants is to get his family to safety, so he posts and hopes that his GoFundMe reaches more people to help not only evacuate his family, but to feed and provide them with basic necessities. Meet Rinad. She is 10 years old, but is wise much beyond her years. She has witnessed things adults have had nightmares about, and yet she is resilient and steadfast on achieving her goals and bringing her family to safety. She makes videos of herself cooking, even though, she tells us, it's hard to get a lot of the ingredients she uses. It's difficult to see someone so young remain so strong. She shares, "I receive hundreds of messages from all of you telling me to stay safe. Can you inform me exactly how I can stay safe if I am living through a genocide where a civilian, child, or elderly, or anything else along those lines is not differentiated?" I know we all mean well when we say stay safe, but her posts makes us face the reality. It is not her choice to stay safe or not, and it's one thing to understand that, but it's a completely different thing to have to live with that as your reality. All we can do is hope and wish the best for her. Lastly, meet Talal, Mido's best friend, and the one who was with him when he took his last breath. Talal and Mido had just started a new account called the Gazan Experience. They made 2 videos before Mido's life was stolen from him. Talal shared a 15-minute video of Mido's last interview, and I really hope you find the time to watch it. You can see just how much the boys went through, and how much they really just want life to go back to normal. What Talal has already gone through and is going through right now is beyond anything anyone can imagine. I reached out to a friend of Mido who lives in America. Since I have never had the pleasure of knowing him directly, I wanted to talk to someone who did. She so kindly shared with me that Mido was a beautiful soul and was always making everyone smile. He was so helpful to the point that when she was around him, he wouldn't even let her lift a finger. Lastly, she shared that her nieces and nephews loved him and that he was great with kids. Mido is not a number, and he will never be one. He had goals, hopes, dreams, friends, and family. He will never be forgotten, and we need to make sure of that. There have been thousands of deaths in Gaza. One thing I will not allow is for me to let them become normal. I want to remember these names and faces and be close with them. If I don't have to experience what they go through, the least I could do is keep myself educated and mourn with them. So here we are, and here you are. Just a few days ago, I was lucky enough to have been able to hear Omar Suleiman speak live. And he ended his talk with something that I think we should all keep close to us. If we do not have to live through these circumstances, the least we could do is be there for our brothers and sisters in humanity who do have to live through that. Be present with these conflicts, not just in Palestine, but Sudan, Congo, Kashmir, the Uyghurs in China. We have to share and carry these stories with us for those who have lost their voices. We should learn as much as we can about them and mourn with those people. Feel their sadness. Do not let yourself become accustomed to this injustice. Be angry and put that anger to good use. Do not allow yourself to be helpless and useless. There are still Gazans alive right now who want to survive this genocide, and they have given us ways we can strive to support them. Every person that I mentioned in this video has a GoFundMe that I have linked below, in addition to one more, my friend Tasneem, trying to survive in Gaza as well. Do not belittle how much sharing and donating, even $1, can help these families. As Americans, it is vital that we speak up in any capacity. Think of Mido. His bravery was admirable, and we must try to do him justice and speak in places where he no longer can. Be on the right side of history and do your part to not be someone who oppresses someone else. Be conscientious of how you live your life in the comfort of America. If that means not buying from Shein or Temu anymore, so be it. Do not be someone who oppresses someone else, and instead be someone who can lift someone else from an impossible situation. Thank you all for listening. Yaya.